Assemble, saya mulai.
Kamera rolling action.
Ladies and gentlemen, in front of us, Andi Nur Nafeeza Azkiya Madina is ready to give a presentation which is entitled Transactions Evidence and describing visual data in presenting the transactions evidence. Clap hand for Andi Nur Nafeeza Azkiya Madina.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
In this good, amazing afternoon, I would like to present to you my presentation about transaction evidence. And before I start, let me say thank you to Sir Tamrin, our lecturer in English accounting, to give me an opportunity to present my PowerPoint. And let me introduce myself. My name is Andi Nur Nafeeza Azkiya, and you know me as Naf. Okay, let's get started. We move to the content. The content in my presentation, there is 6 contents, which is definition of transaction evidence first of all, and second, why transaction evidence is important, why is the role of transaction evidence in decision making, what is the role of transaction evidence in decision making, fourth, what documents count as transaction evidence, fifth, who is responsible for creating and keeping transaction evidence, and lastly, how is transaction evidence used in accounting. So you can see in above, and I would like to move to the definition of transaction evidence. Transaction evidence, also called source documents or supporting documentation, refers to the original records such as invoice, contracts, purchase orders, delivery notes, payroll records, and bank statements that demonstrate a business transaction occurred and provide the factual details. So as we know, the transaction evidence is a document that records all the transactions that we do between sellers and customers in accounting and in our case. Next, why is transaction evidence is important? Transaction evidence is important because it serves the original proof that a business transaction actually took place. Without transaction evidence, such as invoice, receipt, contracts, or bank statements, a company will have no reliable basis to record financial activities in its accounting system. In this evidence ensures accuracy, transparency, and accountability in financial reporting. So, without transaction evidence, we as accountants, we can't record or write it down the transaction or even the account that related to the transaction. And this transaction evidence to support the transparency in our company. So next, we move to the what is the role of transaction evidence in decision making. Managers use transaction evidence to analyze past activities, evaluate costs, and plan for the future. Like, as we know, the customer behavior and costs that which is grow and in other two period, to period 1 and to period 2. For example, reviewing 5 years of utility bills, managers can predict future electricity costs and prepare a more accurate budget. So managers can see in this transaction evidence, which is how much the spend of the company. Next, what documents count as transaction evidence? All transaction refers to an original source document that provide factual proof of a financial event. This includes sales invoice, purchase invoice, cash receipt, bank statement, payroll slip, delivery notes, purchase order, and formal contracts. I think these documents, you all already know about this. And we sometimes meet in our case in practicum. Next. Who is responsible for creating and keeping transaction evidence? Transaction evidence is generally created by the parties directly involved with the transaction. For example, a seller or service provider issues an invoice to receive to the buyer, while a bank issues a statement to confirm payment. So, as we know, transaction evidence, before we make the transaction evidence, we have to confirm that to the bank, so the bank can confirm the payment. And I will move to the how is transaction evidence used. In accounting, transaction evidence serves as the foundation for recording financial data in accounting system. As we know, accounting information system. And accountant use it to prepare vouchers or journal entries, ensuring that every number in the book is backed and variable proof. Before recording, the evidence is typically reviewed for the authenticity. So, as accounting, we must verify the authenticity of the invoice or transaction. So we move to the example. I would like to give you a few examples that we often meet in our case. Like, first of all, invoice. An invoice is a formal document issued by a seller or service provider to a buyer that lists and describes the goods or service provided, along with the amount owed, payment terms, and other details. For the key contents, first, seller's information, buyer's information, second, buyer's information, third, invoice number, fourth, date of issues, fifth, description goods or service, sixth, payment terms, seven, VAT or value added tax, six, total amount due. So let me show you the example. This transaction evidence that I show you to all is my study case in my high school. In this point of view, in this transaction evidence is in Udeskapa point of view. As you can see in the cup or header. In this header, it means that we owe the transaction evidence or we make the transaction evidence. That's our transaction. About the copy one, we make the copy because the original one is owned by buyers, and the number is the number is F121 for the date 6 December 2021, Digital LX, Mata Street, number 663, Jakarta City. Digital LX is the customer of the Udeskapa. Sender date 6 December 2022. Purchase order 100 and 2001. Termin and per 30. Amount 286 million rupiah. Approved by Raka, salesman Siva, booked by Nafa or me. Next is a cash note. Cash note is a document issued issued by seller to a buyer when a transaction is carried out in cash or immediate payment, not on credit. So, in this transaction, there will be no account receivable or account payable account. It is both a proof of purchase for a buyer and proof of sale to the seller. Key characteristic: immediate payment, simpler format, proof of transaction, for use in retail or small transaction. We say UMKM. Let me show you the picture in above. Example of transaction evidence or cash note. Udah Skapat, Yosudarso Street, Jakarta City, cash note. Again, copy document that I already explained to y'all. Number KN01, date 13 December 2021, cash sales. As you can see, the difference between invoice, credit invoice, or cash note, you can see in the term. There's no term in it. And in invoice or credit transaction, there's term in, as we know. And there's no big differences in this transaction evidence. And we move to cash payment voucher. Cash payment voucher document used to record and authorize cash outflows. Like we pay the liabilities to our vendors, or maybe we pay the water, even the electricity and tax. We use the cash payment voucher. Content: voucher number, date, payee name, pardon me, payment purpose, amount paid, reference to supporting documents like invoice, purchase order, signature, approval. Okay, and before we made a cash payment voucher, we have to make a document that related to this, like invoice or purchase orders. Here's the example, the picture in above. We discovered Yosudarso Street, number 49. Cash payment voucher, number BKK 121, date 1 December 2021. Check, number check, CEP 12001, check date, 6 December 2021. Paid to employee of Udes Kapal Jakarta. Amount 2,500,000 Indonesian rupiah. Description: seller's payment for December. Seller's payment for November 2021. In this document, we pay the employer. As you can see, Udes Kapal has paid the employee of Udes Jakarta. Approved by Raka, paid by Keke, booked by Nafa or me. Next, we move to cash receipt voucher. Cash receipt voucher document used to record and authorize cash inflow receipts. It has no differences with cash payment voucher, but in this context, we use this to record our cash inflows. Like we save the payment from our suppliers. Okay, let me show you the contents. Voucher number, date, payer name, source of funds, amount received, purpose, Reference to supporting documents such as invoice, balance slip, signatures, or approvals. Here's the picture, or here's the document. You can see. The header, as we know, udah skapat udah skapat point of view. Sudarso Street number 49, Jakarta City. Number BKM 121, date 3 December 2021. Cash, we received the check. So when we receive cash receipt voucher, that means we receive a check too. So this is a supporting document. Received from GBLX in Jakarta. GBLX is our customer amount 34,100,000 rupiah. Description: settlement of invoice F11/12 dated November 25, 2021. Approved by Raka, received by Keke, booked by me or not. And finally, we move to our glossary. I would like to read the glossary. Payroll record or payroll slip. It's a document that show employee pay details like salary, deduction, taxes, and support payroll expenses. Second, nota content or cash note, a receipt, like document issued when a sale is paid in cash immediately, or proof by payment at point of sale. Next is a cash payment voucher, a document that authorizes and records cash outflows from company, pays to suppliers, expense, and etc. Cash receipt voucher, a document used to record and authorize cash received by the company, customer payments, other income like interest income, and many more. Transaction evidence is our original record, as we know, that prove a financial transaction took place, such as invoice, receipt, or contracts, and many more. Source document, the first written proof of a transaction, used as basis for recording and in accounting books. Purchase order, a buyer's official request to a supplier for goods or service, setting quantity, price, and terms. And lastly, authorization, approval by a responsible person that confirms a transaction is valid before recording or payment. And that's all my presentation, and I would like to open Q&A session. If you have a question for me, please do not hesitate. I would like to and happily answer it. Please, Ananda Amelia.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. My name is Ananda Amelia, and my question is, a business is expanding internationally. How might a difference in legal standards for transaction documentation affect its accounting practice?
Could you please say it again?
How might differences in legal standards for transaction documentation its accounting practice?
I see. So, as I know, when a company grows to other nation or country, the company each company has their own rules. So if they follow their own rules, they might be no mistake in transaction evidence, transaction report mistakes, and there's no error or internal problem. That's it. That's my answers. How is it? I'll let it send to you. Do your profit. Okay. Anybody has question? Please.
Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Nur Nafeeza Azkiya. My question is, why must accountant verify the authenticity of transaction evidence before recording it, even when it looks correct?
Alright, thank you for the question, Nur Nafeeza Azkiya. We as accountant must check the authenticity of transaction because some transaction can be fake in professional way. So the accountant must check carefully the transaction evidence, such as and we can see the honesty of people. So there's no mistake or fraud in our company. I would like to send to you my answer.
What is an example of an invoice that looks correct on the surface but is actually fraudulent?
Okay, like fake document, right? Mrs. Anita? Fake document. Okay. The fake document, a situation with a fake document, like, oh yeah, there's no proof, like, there's no check in it because authenticity or real document has their own check, like, so it can be reported and in check has their own QR signature, so you can see the authenticity. I'll let it send to you. Thank you very much for your question. Next, please.
Okay, my question: how can analyzing several years of transaction evidence help management make strategies, not just operations and decisions?
Could you please repeat it again? I didn't catch it.
How can analyzing several years
Louder.
How can analyzing several of years of transaction How can analyzing several years of transaction evidence help management make strategies, not just operations decisions?
Operation decision. You can see by long-term pattern like customer behavior and the cost, which is the costs are not perhaps, will be the cost will be increase or decrease. So in that way, we can focus on the future decision. That's a smart way. I would like to send to you. Aziza, thank you for your question. I repeat. Does anybody? Do you agree?
Yes.
Yes. I would like to ask again. Does anybody have a question for me? Mrs. Tara? Ms. Tara?
How many people already asked questions? Three. Two more.
Please, do not hesitate.
Two Two more. Nobody?
How about Alfian? Do you have a question?
Yes, I have some questions. My question is the transaction evidence only in the form of paper document?
Could you please repeat again and or slowly and loud voice because I can't hear you here.
So what I see in your presentation is the transaction evidence only in the form of paper. Is there any form of transaction evidence beside in a form
Paper?
of paper
Paper
document?
document.
Yes.
Okay, we can see as my as I know in my school you can see a document in electronic way, like you can save it in database or system information account. I would like to send to you my answer. Do you agree or not?
So in the digitally or electronic transaction evidence always is transaction evidence that we can create. Sorry. So there is other form of transaction evidence beside paper document.
Yes, there is.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your question, Alfian. One more question. One more question, please.
Finish.
Finish. One more question.
You have a high score. For example, if you ask questions, yes, Nur Nafeeza answers. From Nafeeza's answers, you make second question. Nafeeza answers, you create set questions based on Nafeeza's answer. Nafeeza finished answering questions, you create your other focus. Why? Interesting. Interesting interaction. Isn't it? Yes. Instead of just saying, my question is blah 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 blah. The Nafeeza answers is blah 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 blah. Finish. That's normal. Yes. Kayak biasa itu. Yes. If you can do, yes, 3-4 times interaction, that indicates that your English must be good because you have interaction. Second, yes, your knowledge of accounting, your basic knowledge of accounting must be good. Must be good. So you create, yes, question. That's we call English for accounting. That's the reason why we call English for accounting. Yes. And you emphasize. Okay, anyway, let me ask you questions. Can you show some data there in your PowerPoint? Can you show example? Here we are. Hang on. Do you have another example? Piece of. Can you describe that one? Can you describe those?
I have described this one. The header is Uday's Kapal Company, Sudarso Street, number 49, Jakarta City. Cash payment voucher number B to employee of Udes Kapal Company, Jakarta City, amount 2,500,000 Indonesian rupiah. Description: salary payment for November 2021. Approved by Raka, paid by Keke, booked by me. In this transaction evidence, we can see that Udes Kapal has paid their employee amount 2,500,000 Indonesian rupiah.
What is the difference between Raka transaction and Napa transaction? Can you explain
Okay, let me
the
answer.
difference between Raka transaction and Napa transaction?
Okay, let me answer you, sir. Approved by Raka, that means Raka has approved the transaction, and Napa booked the transaction, like records the account. So the account that we use in this document is salaries payment expense. Expense, and for the debit, and the credit is cash in bank, amount 2,500,000 Indonesian rupiah.
So in account, yes. Which one is debit and credit?
The debit is salaries payment expense, and the credit is cash in bank.
Why?
Because as we can see, salaries payment is an expense. We pay, and the cash in bank is normally in debit, and in this case we pay, so our cash in out. So the cash in bank we record in credit side.
Okay, thank you. You can close.
Okay. In conclusion, I will, in the end of my presentation, I would like to read my conclusion of my presentation. Transaction evidence consists of an original resource, of original source document such as invoice, receipt, bank statement, contracts, etc. that prove a business transaction occurred and provide the factual details needed for accurate accounting. This document must be issued properly, verified, and authorized, and securely stored so accountant for correct recording, financial reporting, and regulatory compliance. So there's no financial mistake. I think that's all for my presentation today, and thank you very much for your attention. And sir, thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam